What's up, guys? Today we have a new topic to discuss is how to lose your money on Amazon. And a lot of guys that I'm speaking with the Amazon sellers community, they're usually afraid not about launching products or potential income. They're mainly afraid of losing what they actually have been earned before, or they're afraid to start Amazon business. And today we're gonna speak specifically about potential ways of how you can lose money on Amazon and how to prevent potential problems that you may face when you're running your Amazon business. Okay, let's get started. One of the fastest ways to believe that you can make money on Amazon is by falling into the idea that you can hire some agency or service providers who can take care of your Amazon growth, of your strategies, or any other tasks that potentially can be possible and be implemented on Amazon. And that's one of the biggest traps, because a lot of time and majority of the agencies, I'm not saying every agency, there's a lot of good agencies on the market, but a lot of agencies, they can work from the standpoint when specific seller or specific provider start to do Amazon services, but they not actually know how to get you to the results. So they over promising, and over time you keep continue paying some retainer or some money per month, but overall it's not leading you to the results. And a lot of time majority of the sellers that I've been speaking to, they've been burned so much with the agencies. So sometimes it's better to stay away from this type of ideas and just learn yourself how to do the tasks, unfortunately. So before you hire the agencies, make sure you ask several people who get results from them, and don't just trust agency itself by providing you some case studies and numbers. Of course, they're gonna inflate good cases and deflate bad cases and explain that seller made something wrong or run out of stock or whatever, but usually it comes as a operational mistakes or inability to actually implement the knowledge they have, or maybe market change and their strategies been outdated and they cannot get you to the specific results. Another way to lose money on Amazon is mistakes in product quality control, packaging control, or any ideas that can inflate size of the packaging because you didn't overview potential fees or how you can reduce this fee by just optimizing your packaging. Back in the days, there was no services that can inspect your products, but nowadays there's a lot of companies in China and other countries who can you hire to test and check your product, and there will be a lot of reports of what you expect from the product and what product should be before you ship this to Amazon. Because once the product shipped to Amazon, there's almost no way to stop it and prevent a problem that can be potentially fixed in the beginning of the shipment or production. Another way of quickly lose your money, it's logistics and customs clearance. Majority of the companies, sometimes they don't even understand how much money is gonna cost them to import products to United States. Nowadays, there's a lot of import taxes, so you have to confirm in advance with logistic company how much it's gonna cost you to bring the product to United States. For a quick example, there's a product like pea powder. Pea powder you can buy in China for $3, maybe $4 per kilo. But because anti-dumping monopoly, there's a specific rules and import taxes based on this pea powder that can cost you up to $300 on your invoice. So imagine if you're buying pea powder in China for $10,000, you have to pay additional $20,000 just to import this product to United States. Make sure you learn in advance what it's gonna cost you to bring product to United States. Also, another biggest part as well, nowadays Amazon splitting your inventory to different warehouses. Otherwise, you have to pay a placement fee. Sometimes Amazon requires you to ship inventory to 5 different directions. And if you ship everything in one container, how are you gonna split container on pieces? It's not a piece of cake to just cut it and ship to the different directions. You have to repack it, redo it, and ship your products and your pallets to different directions that are required by Amazon, or pay enormous amount of placement fees. And you have to pre-calculate all of these expenses before you jump on logistical nightmare. Another big part that you also have to consider, it's a brand and trademark registration. You have to make sure the name that you come up with will be approved by USPTO.gov. It's a specific trademark enrollment portal in the United States that will help you to enroll your brand and get access inside Amazon portal, inside Amazon Seller Central, to different features that only available to the companies who have brand enrolled in Amazon program. Also, if you try to run a TikTok shop or any other marketplace, you still need to register your trademark and have a specific number, because a lot of time people can come up with the names that can be refused because they look alike or they sound alike other brands. Make sure you work with professional providers who help you to do proper research and registration. As an example, let's say in Canada, to enroll right now your brand or get a trademark in Canadian marketplace, you need to wait at least 2 years, because there's 2 years of a backlog until you can get a trademark enrolled. That's something that you also need to consider and make sure you understand the entire process. If you actually don't understand, you better to consult with the attorney or specific services that will help you to go through this process. Make sure you don't just go yourself and think you're gonna figure out this, because it can cost you a lot of money if you do mistakes in the process of trademark registration. And a lot of people, they try to do trademark registration themselves. They just go on uspto.gov, they enroll the brand, but after 6 months, the government can refuse because your brand will be similar or duplicated, and then they reject, and you have to start process all over again. Also, important part to understand what type of certificates have to come with your product. As a quick example, if you sell, like we sell in the beauty category, and the beauty category, when you sell on Amazon, they basically don't require much of the paperwork, but if someone complains that they have an allergy, Amazon will require you to provide HRIPT test, which may take between 6 to 8 weeks to complete. And Amazon usually is telling you to provide this test within 10 days. So how are you gonna complete this test within 10 days if it requires 6 to 8 weeks to be completed? So you want to make sure before you enter in any category, you do a proper research. Maybe go to the big groups, like we have an Amazon Garage group where you can just go join the group and ask specific questions about different products, and people will start to help you and do similar some type of navigation to make sure you understand what paperwork, what logistical processes you will have during the registration and enrollment of your brand and product inside Seller Central. Another big question that you have to answer before you enter Amazon Marketplace or launching another product in your catalog, it's what type of keywords you're trying to use to boost your product. Super important, because some of the keywords on Amazon could be restricted or limited. For example, if you sell weight loss products, weight loss or words like a detox, inflammatory, there's many keywords that can trigger Amazon to suspend your product or suppress your product from searches, or even they can just simply turn off your PPC within your Seller Central and you wouldn't be able to advertise your product. There's a lot of restrictions that may come with the specific keywords, and usually we suggest anyone who's starting a new product to do like a test ASIN or test listing on Amazon to make sure they have indexing and keywords applied to their listing. And if Amazon requests any certification or any additional information, or you need to readjust product before you send inventory to Amazon, because once you send inventory Amazon or to Amazon warehouse and Amazon restricted or suspended your product, then it will be much complex. Either you have to remove inventory or redo your listings. You can lose a lot of days, weeks, or even months until you will figure out how to change it. So make sure you do a preparation work and at least go to my meetups where I explain specific steps of how we're pre-launching and launching our products. And in addition, guys, you can check the link below where in details I explain the step-by-step process, the blueprint, how to launch product on Amazon and preparation of the listing, how to make sure you avoid all of the mistakes and you prepare your listing and your product for success on Amazon. And the final nightmare, it's out of stock. Basically, every single Amazon seller who ever been selling on Amazon once or twice or maybe many times been experienced out of stock, and everybody knows how difficult it is and how frustrating it is to run out of stock with your product. First of all, you're losing your sales, you're losing your ranking, you're losing your traction. And back in the days, if you run out of stock, basically you then indexed everything, and getting back in stock and getting back to the same numbers and same sales was completely difficult. Nowadays, Amazon become less strict, but still running out of stock will bring you to crazy challenges like de-indexing, or they maybe not de-index completely your listing, but at least you may lose your ranking. And sometimes it's very hard for you because you expect this cash flow, you need to rebuy inventory. And sometimes if you sell, let's say 100 units a day and you buy inventory based on this projection and then fulfill Amazon again and they start to sell only 30-40 units a day, you will become in some cash flow issues. One of the last things that I want to speak is about cash flow issues and loans. Make sure, guys, every time you take a loan, you calculate how much exactly you have to repay, because loans will come with the monthly payments. It's not only money will cost you extra, but also in addition, it will seriously can damage your monthly cash flow, because now you have to repay, and especially loans that are short-term loans like cabbage loans or blue wine loans or Amazon loans, usually they're up to 12 months And if you, let's say, take $100,000, you have to repay at least $10,000 a month. And sometimes, because Amazon are not predictable, because the seasons could be different, the sales can go up and down, but the payments have to stay the same. Make sure you pre-calculate all the risk and don't take too much of a loan, because this risk may damage your business, or you potentially can run out of business or cash, and you will need to refinance and refinance. It could become a serious nightmare by running with the loans. Another things that people usually don't take or don't talk about potential problems, it's your partners, investors, and taxes. In the United States, you have to understand that taxes, it's a huge amount of money that you have to pay, and a lot of time, because you deal with non-professional accountants or CPAs, guys who will help you to fill up the forms, you can overpay taxes. Make sure you do a proper research of companies who will fill up your paperwork, and they will advise you on how to properly structure your finances to make sure you legally reduce your taxes and pay less. Otherwise, you're just gonna overpay. It may damage your cash flow and your finances significantly. Partners and investors. A lot of people, they afraid to take loans, so they find in routes to find a partner or someone who will invest money into their business. But sometimes you need to understand, those guys, they give you money once, but they take cut of the business forever, unless you either buy out them or exit business completely. Pre-calculate. Maybe sometimes it's better to take a risk by taking a loan than just acquiring partner or investor. Sometimes when people thinking about getting partner or investor, they're gonna reduce the risk of the business. But on the other hand, sometimes partners or investors who don't understand how the Amazon business works, they will start to come with different tasks and some expectations that potentially can slow down you and that potentially can actually damage your business. So make sure people who join your team or you acquiring them in your business, they understand the structure, or at least they can become a silent partner or silent investor who will not slow you down and will not damage the ability for business to grow at a specific scale or specific speed you expect. That was kind of a summary of all the information I want to give to you guys to make sure you don't lose money on Amazon, or at least you get prepared. And also I create a specific blueprint and step-by-step process for you how to pre-launch product on Amazon to make sure all of these processes taken care of, and you have a blueprint of detailed explanations and SOPs and steps how to run your Amazon business at the beginning, or if you try to expand catalog. Make sure you click link below, you subscribe to the channel, follow our information, and I hope you're gonna make more money next year than previous. Bye.